Hello, Namaste Sabailai. Welcome to the Noclue Podcast. This is the podcast where we ask questions about ourselves as Nepalese and about our culture, mindset, and behaviors. We will try to think deeply, creatively, and critically to come up with potential solutions to problems that exist among us, or even pat ourselves in the back for doing some things correctly. आजको पडकास्टमा we have a very special guest. He is from Patan, Nepal, but now lives in California in the States. He is a student at San Jose State University, pursuing a bachelor's degree in graphic design. He is an almost graduate who took more than 4 years to get a bachelor's degree. Still hasn't gotten it, and it's been for more than 4 years now. He likes to think of himself as someone who is a problem solver and also believes in himself to be a thinker in some capacity. And that is why he has started a new podcast to do just that, problem solve. And his name is Sohail Amatya. So that is Sohail Amacya. And that is me. But anyways, आजको हाम्रो पडकास्टमा चाहिँ हामी basic compare and contrast गर्छौँ between the lifestyle differences in Nepal and the States. अनि यो पडकास्टमा चाहिँ mainly मेरो personal experienceको बेसिसमा चाहिँ comparison हुन्छ. But obviously as we go along and I get different perspectives from you people, I can understand certain things better. Understand lifestyles better, understand why things are done better, and मैले पनि मेरो mindset पनि broaden गर्न सक्छु. And त्यसरी नै I hope by helping each other we can go a long way and eventually even help our country. It's a big and unrealistic goal for sure, but I guess त्यही भएर नै यसलाई eventual goal भनिन्छ. So yeah, let's get started. So today's topic for discussion is the similarities and dissimilarities in how school and also work or career works in the States and how they are back home हाम्रो नेपालमा. So सुरु गरौँ. Schools in the States are like huge, like they're physically huge in terms of their size. I'm not gonna lie, my first time US आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ मिजोरी भन्ने स्टेटमा गएको थिएँ एन्ड केप जिराडो भन्ने सिटी थियो जुन जहाँ चाहिँ मेरो युनिभर्सिटी थियो. अनि त्यो स्टेट चाहिँ और त्यो सिटी इन पर्टिकुलर चाहिँ एकदमै डेड डाउन टाइपको थियो, लाइक विथ भेरी लिटल थिङ्स टु डु. अनि लाइक नाइट लाइफ भन्ने कुरा त एक्चुली नन एक्जिस्टेन्ट नै थियो, एन्ड एज वेल एज डे लाइफ पनि खासै थिएन. इट वाज जस्ट अ युनिभर्सिटी द्याट वाज ह्युज, एन्ड आई थिङ्क द्याट वाज वान अफ द मेन attractions you could say त्यो सिटीको. But yeah, म गएको युनिभर्सिटी चाहिँ एकदम नै ठुलो थियो. लाइक you could literally get lost inside the school premises. like certain buildingsहरू पनि थियो जहाँ चाहिँ like shuttle or bus लिएर जानुपर्छ, and that area was just really foreign to me, or I guess to all of the Nepalese that used to study in Nepal. किनकि नेपालमा भनेको स्कुल्सहरू एउटा ठाउँमा हुन्छ, इभन इफ देयर ह्युज, एउटै ठाउँमा हुन्छ सबै, लाइक गेटेड प्रेमिसेस टाइपको हुन्छ. एन्ड यहाँ चाहिँ मोस्टली युनिभर्सिटिजहरू चाहिँ लाइक ओपन गेटेड हुन्छ. एनी वान क्यान जस्ट वक इन एन्ड लाइक अब्जर्भ द बिल्डिङ्स अर अब्जर्भ द युनिभर्सिटी, चेक इट अल एन्ड टाइपको कल्चर छ यहाँ चाहिँ. अनि अल्सो इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्सहरू अनि फेसिलिटिजहरू चाहिँ एकदम नै राम्रो हुन्छ, लाइक स्टेट अफ द आर्ट टाइपको हुन्छ सबै. अलमोस्ट एभ्री युनिभर्सिटी, लाइक मेजर युनिभर्सिटिजहरू यस्तै हुन्छ. लाइक दे आर भेरी वेल फन्डेड आई थिङ्क, एन्ड दे आर भेरी वेल मेन्टेन्ड, अदर देन लाइक small things here and there, but mostly it's very, very well kept. It almost feels like you don't even deserve the facilities that you see, because कति धेरै बिल्डिङ्सहरू हुन्छ for like each and every major, each subject. अनि कति बिल्डिङहरू you don't even have to use it. They're just there for, like for example, if I'm studying business and there's a physics building and it's like gigantic. It has so many features and so many things to look at inside, so many I guess you could say so many infrastructure to use, but I don't even have to use it because I'm a business major, but you still see all of the things that you can use and that is available to you and that you are paying for basically. So त्यो छ एउटा I guess there are universities in Nepal too that are good, but in terms of technology and just general facilities, US is like light years ahead, as many of you might expect. Bigger things देखि लिएर minor thingsहरू पनि जसले धेरै डिफरेन्सहरू गर्छ, they're like very good in the US, and maybe hopefully futureमा पनि Nepal will eventually start to catch up and we can enjoy these things in Nepal rather than having to come to the United States or any other countries to experience them. अनि अर्को कुरा चाहिँ सबै मेजर अर सबै सब्जेक्टहरुकोलाई चाहिँ इक्वल इम्पोर्टेन्स दिएको हुन्छ. लाइक अभियसली इन्जिनियरिङ अर साइन्स सब्जेक्ट्सहरुकोलाई अलि बढी प्र्याक्टिकल नलेज चाहिन्छ, सो इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्सहरु पनि अलि बढी एडभान्स हुन्छ इन दोज बिल्डिङ्स. But overall, the infrastructures are just top notch for basically any major a student chooses. This leads up really well to the next point. US ma अर्को राम्रो कुरा in terms of school चाहिँ there is complete freedom to do whatever you choose, like complete freedom. Unlike Nepal where there is a definite program and like a defined structure to the program. Like for example, मेरो personal experience मा चाहिँ कुन subject, कुन semester मा लिने and everything is like already predefined by someone else instead of me, without much flexibility. Like I guess without any flexibility you could say. US मा चाहिँ कुनै पनि मेजर चुज गर्न सकिन्छ. लाइक इट डजन्ट म्याटर, लाइक इट डज नट म्याटर वाट्सएभर. एन्ड कुनै पनि माइनर भन्ने कुरा पनि लिन पाउँछ. लाइक जे पढ्न मन छ त्यही पढ्न पाउँछ. दिस इज अल्सो पोसिबल बिकज युएसमा चाहिँ सबै सब्जेक्टको लागि स्कोप छ भन्छ नि. लाइक सबै सब्जेक्टकोमा चाहिँ पोटेन्सियल हुन्छ. अभियसली इफ यु वर्क फर इट द्याट्स अ गिभन. फर इक्जाम्पल, if your major is civil engineering or any type of engineering, you can still take like a photography class or any other random class. Like there are classes for literally anything and everything. Like literally, like you can take a class for glass blowing or whatever it's called, or just I saw a class for wine appreciation, which is something you will never see in Nepal. Like I can't even begin to think where you can take a class like that in Nepal. So that kind of blowed my mind. First time जब मैले क्लासेसहरू लिन थालेँ, and when I saw what I could learn and what I could do in these universities that are outside my own major too. So त्यो चाहिँ एकदम राम्रो छ US को साइडमा. अनि अर्को राम्रो चाहिँ यहाँ धेरै जस्तो प्रोफेसरहरू पनि दे आर भेरी प्यासनेट अबाउट वाट दे टिच. फर इक्जाम्पल मेरो फोटोग्राफीको टिचर वाज वान अफ द बेस्ट टिचर्स मैले लाइफमा लिएको. अनि द मोस्ट सरप्राइजिङ थिङ अबाउट द्याट इज द्याट टिचर वाज नट इभन लाइक द मोस्ट एक्सपिरियन्स अर द मोस्ट नलेजेबल, बट वाज द मोस्ट प्यासनेट. सो उसको क्लासमा चाहिँ आई फेल्ट लाइक मैले चाहिँ आफ्नो नलेज टेस्ट गर्न मिल्छ, or I could take risks, and even if I fail per se or नराम्रो भए पनि मैले केही सिक्न चाहिँ पाउँछ योबाट. So I think most of the students त्यो क्लासमा felt the same way. Like she was so passionate about what she teached, and she was so willing to help students learn about the subjects that she was trying to teach, that it almost felt like I would be doing her and myself a disservice if I was not paying attention or if I did not try my hardest in that class. So passion is a big thing in the US. Passion for teaching and passion for the subjects they teach as well. So अरू पनि धेरै पोजिटिभ्सहरू छ युएसमा, बट सबै अभियसली कभर गर्न सकिँदैन. एन्ड अभियसली यो सबै पोजिटिभ्सहरूलाई ब्यालेन्स गर्नलाई नेगेटिभ्सहरू पनि हुन्छ धेरै. And one of the biggest negatives for me personally was the cost. Like US को universities को cost like छुनै नसकिने हुन्छ. Like literally it is just skyrocket high. Like you can't even begin to imagine कतिसम्म चाहिँ पुग्छ US को कलेजहरुको के युनिभर्सिटी को cost को लागि. मेरो personal experience or मेरो personal example दिने हो भने चाहिँ I went to a state university which is like government or state owned or something state run, which is still pretty expensive if you just look at it. But if private university को लागि हेर्ने हो भने चाहिँ for example UC Berkeley जुन म बस्ने ठाउँबाट अलि नजिक छ, UC Berkeley जस्तो university which is one of the biggest universities I have seen, and it is one of the biggest universities in the US. यो university को cost चाहिँ I think year को 46,000 जति हुन्छ, which is नेपालीमा convert गर्दा वर्षको 54 lakhs rupees. Like that is just mind blowing. Like what the hell? अनि यो just एक वर्षको. So normally in traditional thinking or traditional methods, you could say, normally university complete गर्नलाई चाहिँ minimum of 4 years लाग्छ, which is in Nepal and here, which makes the cost of the true actual cost of attending UC Berkeley, the university, closer to 2 crore and 16 lakh rupees. And that is if you graduate in 4 years. I took more than 4 years and it was hard. Like 4 years ma complete गर्ने भनेको एकदमै गाह्रो छ, and hats off to whoever does it. And I know there are people, a lot of people who do it, but I'm just not one of those people. So cost चाहिँ हेर्ने हो भए mind blowingly नै high छ. अनि मेरो माइन्डमा चाहिँ, मेरो पर्सनल माइन्डमा चाहिँ that degree will never be worth it. Like 2 crore 16 lakh rupees for a piece of paper is just crazy. And I know future ko lai ho and stuff, and just like your degree le faida huncha personally and professionally, that is very good for them. That is like, for example, if doctor or engineer or testo technical type ko practical knowledge type ko subject haru chahiन्छ भए त I guess it's very necessary, and I guess it's vital for them to succeed. But I can't even begin to think of investing that much money for a piece of paper. Like that is a lot of money. You could change hundreds of lives for that amount of money. So anyways, scholarships haru huncha like त्यसलाई support गर्नलाई, but again मैले personally चाहिँ पाएको छैन त्यो scholarship, so I don't know anything about your side. There are a lot of Nepalese who are here that get full scholarships, half scholarships, I don't know, kati scholarships, and they must be really talented people. But again, मैले पाएको छैन, so I can't talk about that side. And also I guess नेपालमा पनि expensive नै छ युनिभर्सिटीहरू. अनि again, मेरो like त्यो नेपालको युनिभर्सिटिजहरू पनि are not worth it, especially because of the rigid system, and like the system does not allow like actual learning. It just allows for like knowledge that is forced upon you, I feel like. So Nepalko pani is not worth it, but US ko university costs are something else. Like they are something else. So moving on to work culture in the States, starting with getting hired, first of all, that's where it starts. Nepal and India ma चाहिँ के understanding छ, and मेरो पनि यही थियो, if राम्रो reputed university or college गयो भने चाहिँ राम्रो काम पाउँछ. And कतिवटा collegesहरूमा पनि यस्तै हुन्छ, like collegesमा आएर recruit गर्ने after you've completed your degree or close to completing your degree type को culture or type को system छ. And some same concept applies to internships in Nepal too. Like मेरो personal experience, मलाई जहाँसम्म थाहा छ, नेपालमा चाहिँ कलेजेसहरूको लास्ट सेमेस्टरमा चाहिँ इन्टर्नसिप भनेर हालेको हुन्छ. नट स्योर कसरी चाहिँ त्यो एक्चुली हाउ इट गोज थ्रु, किनकि आई डिडन्ट गेट द्याट फर नेपालमा. बट पोइन्ट आइम ट्राइङ टु मेक इज, इन नेपाल, if we're putting it in simple terms, I had a mindset of everything being handed to me. Like if I study for 4 years and study hard and get my degree and get good grades, I will get a good job, and then paisa kamaउँछु, and then life will be set type ko. But I guess there's nothing wrong with it, but I just wanted something different. And I know नेपालमा धेरै मान्छेहरू छ यस्तो, and यता पनि धेरै मान्छेहरू छ who do not want to go through that system but still do. Just because there is no other option. Like sabai colleges same system around, so I don't know any colleges that are doing anything different. Maybe there are, maybe I'm just missing them. But मैले चाहिँ देखेको छैन. So if there are, just let me know. अनि युएसमा चाहिँ it's a little different. Well, there are universities that do this, I guess. I have noticed that this is not the road that people take right now in the present United States. Degree ko importance, at least yata चाहिँ every day घटिरहेछ, and companies are looking for people that have the knowledge, whether that is through a traditional school or knowledge that they have learned through experiences or just everyday life or even just the internet. It is about what you can do rather than how you do it. It's about getting the job done, as they say. Not saying that it is easier than in Nepal, not at all. Like, it is really hard here, like especially in today's world where companies are looking to offload people rather than hire more just because they have to save their own asses. But I feel like US companies look for the correct people regardless of how you gather that information. So it doesn't matter how you do it, it just matters that you get the job done and you get the results. That's how it works, I think, US मा चाहिँ. अनि अर्को कुरा चाहिँ hierarchy. So hierarchy is very different in the US than in Nepal. US मा पनि hierarchy छ, and definitely छ. नेपालमा चाहिँ definitely छ, and people in the higher position will make sure that you know that they are higher in the ladder. So US मा चाहिँ, while they do expect you to follow the chain of commands and respect the authorities, it is more relaxed. It's more natural, I guess. First name basis भएकोले होला, so you call everyone by their first name, and तिमी तपाईं जस्तो एज सेन्सिटिभ वर्ड्सहरू चाहिँ एक्जिस्ट गर्दैन इङ्ग्लिस ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा, जस्तो हाम्रो नेपाली ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा छ. And I'm not gonna lie, it is very hard to get used to it. Like calling someone मेरो grandparentको age by their first name is something I don't think I'll ever get used to. It genuinely does not come natural to us whatsoever. So त्यो छ hierarchy को, and it can be a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it depends on हामीले कसरी युज गर्छ. अरू धेरै कुराहरूमा चाहिँ सेम टाइपको कन्सेप्ट अप्लाई हुन्छ, लाइक एजको कुरामा स्पेसली. I know there are older people in Nepal who do not get the same opportunities as young people do, and there are young people that do not get the same ones that older people do. And even if a younger person is better than the older person at doing something, the older person is preferred. And if the older person is better than a younger person in a specific workplace, the younger person is still preferred for some reason or the other. Generally, I think age-लाई हेरेर चाहिँ determine गरिन्छ in Nepal more than it should be. Whether someone can do a good job or not भन्ने कुरा, which is like really unfair in my opinion and should be changed. And Nepalको companies and Nepalमा चाहिँ we need to look at US and steal this idea of not looking at age as something as a main factor in determining if they can do a job or not भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ. So moving on to what we can do better as Nepalese and what we can learn from the US. And all this is my personal opinion. Firstly, in terms of pay. So something that both countries can do better in is in terms of the pay for teachers. I think in teachers, regardless of what country it is, are not paid enough. So I think यो हेर्दाखेरि एकदम basic solution type को देखिन्छ. But I believe there are teachers in the States and in Nepal that are like genuinely passionate about helping young people learn about things that the teachers have some sort of knowledge in. मैले मेरो एक्सपिरियन्समा चाहिँ धेरै यस्तो टिचरहरू देखेको छु जो एकदम ट्यालेन्टेड हुनुहुन्छ in terms of educating people, but also in terms of like managing and handling these people, like especially teachers who are responsible for handling students during the teenage years. चाहिँ सबैभन्दा गाह्रो हुन्छ. Like even when I remember back to my teenage years and like teachers who were responsible for handling like 30 teenagers at a time, that was just ridiculous. Like I don't know how they do it. For those who are successful in doing it, of course. अनि त्यो teenager yearsमा चाहिँ सबैभन्दा गाह्रो हुन्छ ह्यान्डल गर्न, I feel like टिचरहरूको लागि, but they still manage to do it, some of them. And if there are people who are good enough to handle them and educate them, they should be paid more, जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ. अर्को कुरा चाहिँ regardless of how passionate someone is to teach, money भनेको चाहिँ सधैँ एउटा मोटिभेटिङ रिजन हुन्छ. लाइक जतिसुकै महात्मा गान्धी जस्तो पवित्र मान्छे बन्न खोजौँ होइन, money is always going to be something that determines how much a person cares भन्ने कुरा. Like not in a negative way, like पैसाको लागि मात्रै गर्नुपर्छ वेमा होइन, but like anyone including the teachers have responsibilities and ambitions and they need to earn money to fulfill them. So earning enough money doing the work that is so important, and like in terms of students as well as in terms of the nation as well, it I think will help the teachers' self-esteem if they are to earn enough money doing something that they like to do and doing work that is so important. अनि अर्को पोइन्ट चाहिँ प्यासन. सो मैले अगाडि पनि भनेको थिएँ लाइक प्यासन भनेको एकदमै ठुलो छ युएसमा. एन्ड युएसमा चाहिँ मैले मेन कुरा नोटिस गरेको चाहिँ यही हो, प्यासन द्याट पिपल ह्याभ फर टिचिङ एन्ड एजुकेटिङ पिपल. एन्ड आई डोन्ट मिन टु हेट अन नेपाली टिचर्स, बट apart from some teachers that I've had the pleasure of working with or learning from, I did not get the sense that most of them were passionate about teaching. In reality though, म पनि if उनीहरूको पोजिसनमा भएको भए सेम नै हुन्थ्यो होला. लाइक एकदम गाह्रो छ, आई नो, कुनै पनि कुराको लागि प्यासनेट भइराख्ने फर अ लङ टाइम, स्पेसली वेन मनी प्रब्लम्सहरू प्लस ल्याक अफ रेस्पेक्ट इन जेनरल हुन्छ. सो त्यस्तो कुराहरूसँग डिल पनि गर्न पर्दा एकदम गाह्रो हुन्छ होला उनीहरूको लागि पनि, विच इज भेरी अन्डरस्ट्यान्डेबल एन्ड आई हेभ सिम्पथी फर दिस टिचर्स. सो टिचरहरूलाई प्यासनेट नै राख्नको लागि चाहिँ के सल्युसन हुनसक्छ त? लाइक आई डोन्ट क्लेम टु नो एभ्रिथिङ, एन्ड इनफ्याक्ट आई डोन्ट नो मच स्टिल अबाउट a lot of things, and that's part of the reason I started this podcast, to learn and help each other learn too, and we work together towards solving problems like as a unit. So if तपाईलाई यो कुरामा के आइडिया छ भए लाइक प्यासन कसरी रिइग्नाइट गर्ने or प्यासन कसरी राखिराख्ने कुनै कुराको लागि, स्पेसली टिचिङको लागि कसरी चाहिँ गर्ने भनेर के आइडिया छ भए प्लिज लेट मी नो, and maybe that'll help others who are listening to this podcast as well. Moving on to the next point, which is flexibility. This is another one of the most important thing, or most one of the better things that I've noticed in the US system is flexibility. So states ma chahi, when you first start a university, the first 2 years are just general education, like GE courses, that you start taking courses, and then you start taking like major related classes, like if engineering will be engineering class, physics will be physics class, and all that stuff. So अनि नेपालमा चाहिँ कस्तो छ भने फर्स्टमै चुज गराउँछ. लाइक इज द्याट द मोस्ट इफेक्टिभ अप्सन? आई डोन्ट थिङ्क सो, किनकि आई फिल लाइक यो कुरामा चाहिँ स्टेट्स हेज अ बेटर सिस्टम, किनकि धेरै कुराहरू हुन्छ जुन स्टुडेन्टहरूले फिगर आउट गरेको हुँदैन त्यो यङ एजमा. लाइक आई नो युएसमा यो सिस्टम चलेको राम्रो भएकोलाई धेरै अरू कुराहरूले एफेक्ट गर्छ, But this system allows students to explore themselves and understand their strengths and weaknesses better. जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ नेपालको सिस्टममा चाहिँ there are very few options to start with, like BBA, BBS, BBM, BBIM, BBMIS के हुन्छ हैन. Engineering, of course, is a big thing, IT, etc. And you select any one of these, and then the next 4 years of your life, यही सब्जेक्टमै खट्नुपर्छ, यही सब्जेक्टमै लाग्नुपर्छ for the next 4 years. And even if you think that you want to do something else, like bitsama, like 2 years into it, you'll have to start from the very beginning. Or if you're like extremely lucky, you can transfer your units or your credits or your classes, which is मेरो personal experience. My transferring units and stuff did not work for me. I'm gonna be honest, it did not work for me, and it's very complicated, I think. But anyways, university start गर्दाखेरि you are like 18 years old or something and are barely starting to know your strength and weaknesses. कोही कोही अगाडि पनि गर्छ, कोही कोही पछि पनि गर्छ, but 18 is like a general age, like generalize गर्दाखेरि. And यो 18 years old को टाइममा चाहिँ 4 years कुनै कुराको लागि डेडिकेट गर्न लगाउनु is not the best way to move forward, I think. यो सिस्टमले चाहिँ स्टुडेन्टको स्ट्रेन्थमा बिल्ड गर्न अलाउ गर्दैन. It might for some lucky ones or many, but definitely will not do it for the most. And rather it will leave the not so lucky ones like myself with having to improve upon their weaknesses, which will in turn turn something that they are bad at into something they might be good at, but not great. So if we change the system in a way to focus on student strength instead of the weakness, and turn something that they're already good at into something they are like great at, that will help immensely in terms of the students, as well as in terms of the system and in terms of the nation as well, in my personal opinion, of course. The next point that we can learn from the United States is in terms of independency. So Nepal's predetermined structure to the education system turns students into like in a way into like robots. Like 4 years हुन्छ, 8th semester हुन्छ, के पढ्ने सबै already determined हुन्छ by someone else, keep in mind. And 8th semester internship हुन्छ, and then graduate गर्ने अनि companyले hire गर्छ. Like when you enter, you are like full of determination and full of motivation to do something, and then halfway through the journey, students are just coasting through their life and coasting through school. Like they go into, in a way, it's called autopilot mode. Like every day, every month, every year is the same cycle. And US Mapani school is not the best, but at least students are held responsible for their own success in a way. Like smaller things like arranging classes, registering for classes on time, paying bills and stuff like that, I think is part of growing up, and also make students responsible for selecting the proper classes that they actually want to learn and actually want to take, because it's so expensive, one thing. But they select classes that help them particularly based on their personal skills, instead of relying on a syllabus that is made for like thousands and thousands of students, like a herd of sheep. So त्यो एस्पेक्टमा चाहिँ राम्रो छ US, and this is another idea that Nepal can steal and implement it in some way that may help Nepalese students as well. So अर्को point चाहिँ, and final point चाहिँ, focusing on the right things. So नेपालमा चाहिँ right कुराहरुमा फोकस गर्नुभन्दा पनि नचाहिने कुरा, unrelated कुराहरुमा बढी फोकस गर्नुपर्छ. Like old thinking plus hundreds and years of doing the same thing, whether it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, like doing it in a certain way for thousands of years ले गर्दा पनि होला. But things like age, gender, जस्तो कुराहरु is given more importance than like things that actually matter, I think. So for example, in order to get like a certain job, you must be a young person. and if you are past a certain age, you are not considered for the job. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But anyways, अर्को एक्जाम्पल चाहिँ पोलिटिक्समा चाहिँ हामी किन कहिले पनि यङ मान्छे चाहिँ देख्दैनौँ. Why is it always these old idiots that are like closer to death than they are to doing anything productive? Like, they've had like countless opportunities, but like, why do these idiots, these old idiots, still get the opportunities to do something, and they don't, keep in mind, but they're still there? Like, why? Why does age have to be so important and decisive in Nepali culture? I don't understand. Like, I think age, gender too. Like, gender is a big thing. Let's not get into it. But if we're talking about age in specific, why does it have to be so important and decisive? Like, let me know. सो यही हो कुनै कुनै कुराहरू मैले बुझेको युएसमा आएर बसेर अनि नेपालको गर्ने तरिकाहरूसँग कम्पेयर गर्दाखेरि सिकेको कुराहरू. नेपालले पनि धेरै कुराहरू राम्रो गर्छ जुन युएसले चाहिँ सिक्न सक्छ. एन्ड आई नोटिस दिस अन अ डेली बेसिस एज वेल. बट यो पर्टिकुलर एपिसोडमा चाहिँ वाट नेपाल क्यान लर्न वाला एस्पेक्टमा चाहिँ धेरै फोकस गरेँ. There's a lot of information missing, I'm pretty sure, and there's a lot, and there might be some incorrect ones, not too many, hopefully. And this is where you can help me learn, and I can help you learn, and we get better together. And also, the people that might be listening can learn as well from both of our mistakes. अनि यसरी नै hopefully we can grow and keep growing until we get to our eventual goal together. So remember, we are just a bunch of no-cluers. यो चाहिँ मेरो शोको tagline, cringy tagline जस्तो. We're just a bunch of no-cluers that are trying to better ourselves for a better future. And यति नै भन्दै, I will thank you for listening to this podcast, and I'll be back with another episode soon.